about, what it might be a little bit later. I read, there was a survey that was recently done, and I read that the results of that, one of the findings of that was that in corporate careers, women often start out as ambitious as men. But they find it very hard to stay the course. There's a lot of drop. I think Avanti and I were talking about this just a little while earlier, that they find it harder to stay the course, and there's much more that sort of goes, astray. So, Ritika, from your point of view, what would you say about this, and what is your experience of this? Do you find that your goals maybe have shifted as higher on the corporate ladder?
Again, thank you to Zoya and the Engage Today group for inviting me to participate in what will be an excellent panel already. It's just been wonderful to hear the discussions raised, both in private before this panel discussion, as well as what Sophie's already shared with you. So the question you've asked about changing definitions of success and why do people's ambitions change throughout their careers is actually something I've been thinking a lot about this year. One of our goals for Canada and India has been to work a lot with women's NGOs and NGOs who are working on women's empowerment issues in India. So we funded a number of different NGOs, including the Bollywood Media Awards, which happen every year, the Vicky Film Festival, which is going on right now about women in media. And we also worked on a number of activities around International Day of the Girl Child, which were looking at women in the workforce. What we found really interesting, and I've gone to a session at Jindal, talking with mid-level managers. And you often, as you say, start with a large number and then they drop out at that mid-level. And some of it is family. Some of it is just stepping back and saying, is it worth making those trade-offs? And do I have a supportive environment which will enable me to make those trade-offs in a way that's beneficial both to me and at work? And what was to me most interesting is that we've started creating the space for women to have those conversations, but we haven't really created the space for men to have those conversations. And in a way, if we make things and we make this work-life balance discussion something that even men can have more of, it will benefit us as women, because as frankly as we know, things are a little of men, and when the issue becomes a men's issue, sometimes you get more traction for women to actually move forward. So part of me is thinking we should talk these changes definitions of success. We often talk about them just for women, but we also have to think about them for men and creating that supportive environment where women are not penalized for thinking about these things and men are not asked to think about these things.
Right. Right. Actually, that's very interesting. In fact, that's one of the things we were talking about. Avanti, how would you say, you've just had Avanti's just had a baby, he's 1-year-old now, and Avanti's got a very busy job with this. So how does one actually go about creating this supportive environment at home?
So I was thinking a while back in terms of when Sophie was talking about success, and I think just a year back to me success was just getting 2 hours of sleep every day. So rightly said, what you said is that success, I think it differs from the stage of life that you're in, and it moves on, and the milestones also keep shifting. Probably before Madama, it was about getting to be a confident head or ambition and so on and so forth, milestones. But I think the perspective changes quite a lot. Asking, having a spouse who supports you. I remember the first day I came back from maternity leave and I'm sitting in office and I'm wondering, why am I here? I think I'm in the wrong place, and I wouldn't have thought I would ever have thought like that. And I went back that day and my husband was saying that you've always been very ambitious. And what happened? You have to persevere, and for that matter, I am here today, and I know I can be at peace because my husband is back there looking after our child. So so things are changing.
You got a good one.
So and especially millennials and with the new generation, I think even in college you start off as, you believe, both men and women believe that you will have equal careers. And that makes a lot of difference, and mindsets have also changed. So to that extent, a supportive spouse, definitely. I mean, without that, it's impossible for you as a woman to continue to grow in your career and be ambitious about where you want to get.
Yeah, I think it's a supportive spouse, and I think in the Indian context, there's also, there's this fear of losing something one has if one continues to aspire higher. For example, it could be a dialogue that goes like, if I'm more successful in my career and it goes faster than my husband's, is it worth it? Or if I travel a lot, as my, often jobs at senior levels do tend to entail, will I be staying away from my children a lot, and is it worth it? So in that question, what are the trade-offs that you need to make, and is it worth it? And what would you think about that? I think that's a question that every woman faces,
So, I really don't have an answer which is going to make a lot of people happy. And, some of the stereotypes that we have, that a woman should always talk in terms of leading her life, in terms of trade-offs. I really don't agree, because it's all in your mind. It's eventually what you have desired for yourself. And the other thing is, I think somewhere along the line, in the last 10 years, the entire ecosystem around us, and I'm talking about women here, all of us and all of you, I think the ecosystem around us has completely changed. I think we do have spouses who are really supportive, and it's okay, because I think we are now equal stakeholders. So I just find it a little tough to explain to some of the new kids. I'm like 18 years in business, so there are lots of new generations that come, and in fact it's the other way around. When I see presentations happening, I actually feel bad for the guys. I'm like, please let the guys talk. So it's interesting to see how things have changed, and it's a great thing to talk about balance, but at the end of the day, it's all in your mind. And it's a choice that you have made. If today I have decided to be here, it was entirely a choice which was made keeping all the pros and cons in mind. So you make trade-offs, but you know when you need to stop, and which life cycle and stage of life you are where you need to do the kind of trade-offs. And to all the women who are sitting here who are working, I really strongly believe that in a career span of 30 years, if 1 year you decide to take it slow, and 1 year you decide that because my kid is going to be giving his board exam and I need to stay back at home and take a sabbatical for 4 months, it really doesn't make a difference to your career in the long term. So I think things have changed, ecosystems around us have changed, and if they haven't changed, ask for it. I think one of the biggest things that we don't do is ask. I think we have this inherent thing as women. We feel that if people acknowledge the fact that we need help, there is an inherent weakness. But I don't necessarily agree to that. If you have an issue, if you need more support at work, at home, raise your hand, ask for it. It will be given to you. So I think create your own ecosystem. That's how you'll be successful. And all of us have reached where we have because we've created that kind of ecosystem that's helped us reach where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very well. Yeah.